Shri Radha Krishna and Namo Namaha. At first, I offer my humble prayers in the lotus feet of Lord Shri Radha Krishna. I also extend warm greetings and respect to all of you. Today, from the scripture, UDDHAV Gita, the last message of Lord Shri Krishna, we will be listening chapter 13, where Lord is instructing his dear friend and devotee UDDHAV about forest life and monoasticism. The holy word from the scripture are as follows. The Lord said, when a man wishes to retire into the woods, he should put his wife in the care of his sons or go with her and live peacefully in the woods the third quarter of his span of life. He should live on purifying wall tubers, roots and fruits, and wear a bark or a cloth or a garment of straw or leaves or a deerskin. He should allow the hair on his head and body as well as beard to grow, and not remove the dirt on his person. He should not wash his teeth, should plunge in water thrice a day, and lie on the ground. In the summer he should subject himself to the 5 fires. In the rainy season expose himself to showers, and the winter remain immersed up to his neck in water. Thus should be practiced austerity. He should eat food cooked over a fire or ripening naturally in the process of time, powdering it with a pestle or stone, or even making his teeth serve the purpose. Aware of the efficacy of place and time, he should himself collect all his means of subsistence and not eat things procured at some past time. The hermit living in the woods should perform his observances of the season with oblations prepared from grains that grow in the woods and not with animal sacrifice as prescribed in the Vedas. On the recluse, the expounders of the Vedas also enjoin the daily tending of the sacrificial fires, the observances in connection with the new moon and the full moon, as well as that of the Chaturmas as in the household life. The recluse with arteries and veins prominent all over his body, on account of his practice of austerity, worship me, the embodiment of austerity, and attains to me from the sphere of the rishis. Who is a greater fool than he who applies this great austerity practice with such hardships and calculated to confer liberation to the fulfillment of petty desires? When the hermit is unable to observe those rules, being overtaken by a shaking of the limbs consequent on old age, he should mentally put the sacrificial fires within him, and with his mind intent on me, enter into fire. When he is perfectly sick of the spares that are the outcome of work, seeing that they are attendant with misery, he should discard the fires and from that stage embrace the monastic life. Sacrificing unto me according to scriptural injunctions and giving his all to the officiating priest, he should mentally put these sacrificial fires in his own self and renounce without caring for anything. To a Brahmana who is about to renounce the gods, thinking that he may verily transcend them and attain to Brahman, offer obstructions in the form of the wife and other relations. If the monk retains a second piece of cloth, it should be only as much as cover the loin cloth, and except in times of danger, he should not have anything that he has already discarded other than his staff and his begging bowl. He should place his foot on the ground, after looking well, should drink water filtered through a cloth, should speak words that have the stamp of truth on them, and act as his reason dictates. Silence, inaction, and control of the pranas are the restraints of speech, body, and mind, respectively. One who has not these, my friend, never becomes a sannyasi and simply carrying some staves. A sannyasi should beg his food from the four castes, excepting the culpable. He should visit not more than 7 houses, must not think of the food beforehand, and must be satisfied with as much as is obtained. Going to a tank outside the village and bathing there, he should purify the food he has collected, and offering portions to the deities and all creatures silently eat the remnant without saving anything. He should roam over this earth alone without attachment and with his senses under control. All his pastime should be in the self as well as his pleasure he should be of a steady mind and look evenly upon everything. Taking shelter in a secluded and congenial spot, and with his mind purified by rapt devotion to me, the sage should meditate on the one self as identified with me. He should reflect on the bondage and liberation of the self through the pursuit of knowledge. Bondage consists in outgoing of the senses and liberation in their control. Therefore, the sage controlling the senses should roam, looking upon everything as myself, deriving great bliss from the self. He should turn away from the petty desires. Going to towns, villages, cowherds, settlements, and assemblies of pilgrims for the purpose of begging his food, he should wander over the earth, abounding in holy countries, rivers, mountains, forests, and hermitages. He should beg his food mostly from the hermitages of people who have retired into the forest, for by partaking of their food consisting of grains picked up from the fields, he soon becomes purified in mind and freed from delusion, attains perfection. The visible world he should not consider as reality, for it perishes. With his mind unattached to this world and the next, he should desist from activities tending to enjoyments in them. This world and this body with the mind, speech, and pranas are all a delusive superimposition on the self. Reasoning thus, he should take his stand on the self, and giving the former up should no more think of them. He who averse to the objective world is devoted to knowledge, or not caring even for liberation is devoted to me, should move about regardless of the orders of life with their respective insignia. He should be above the ties of formality. Though wise, he should play as a child. Though expert, he should move about like an idiot. Though erudite, he should talk like a lunatic. And though well versed in scripture, he should live as if he were a cow. He should not be fond of uploading the ritualistic portion of the Vedas, nor be a heretic, nor be given a barren argument. In disputes arising out of empty discussions, he should take neither side. The sage should not be vexed by people, nor vex them himself. He should put up with vilifications and never insult anybody. For the sake of the body, he should bear enmity to none, as beasts do. The one supreme self alone dwells in the bodies of all beings and in one's own body, as the moon is reflected in so many vessels of water, and all bodies are of the same nature. Possessed of steadiness, he should not be sorry when he gets no food, nor be delighted when he gets it, for both these are controlled by destiny. He should strive to procure his food, for continuity of life is desirable. Through it one can reflect on truth, knowing which one becomes free. The sage should eat food, good or bad, which comes of itself, and use clothes and bedding just as he obtains them. The man of realization should observe cleanliness, wash his mouth and bathe, and go through all other observances, but not because of scriptural injunctions, as I, the Lord, do everything of my free will. He who has no perceptions of differences, and if he ever had any, it has been removed by his realization of me. Till the dissolution of his body, he sometimes has a semblance of it, and after that he is one with me. A man who has got sick of words that produce only pain, and is possessed of self-control, but has not inquired into the religion that leads to me, should go to sage as to a master. Until he has realized Brahman, he should serve the teacher like me, with care and devotion, having faith in him and never carping at him. But one who has not mastered his passions, whose intellect, the guide to his sense organ, is wild, and who is devoid of discrimination and renunciation, such a man, taking up the monk's triple staff for the sake of subsistence, is a destroyer of religion, and cheats the God, cheats himself and me who resides in his self. With his impurities unconsumed, he is deprived of both this life and the life to come. The duties of a monk are control of the mind and non-inquiry. Those of a forest-dwelling hermit are austerity and discrimination. Those of a householder are preservation of the lives of animals and performance of sacrifices, while the duty of a brahmacharin is service unto the teacher. Continence with the option of deviating from it at prescribed times, the performance of his duties, purity, contentment, and kindness to animal are also duties for a householder. Worship of me is a duty for all. He who thus worship me constantly and exclusively through the performance of his duties, knowing my presence in all being, soon attains to a steadfast devotion to me. O Uddhava, through his undying devotion, he comes to me, the great Lord of all beings, the originator and destroyer of all, their cause, the Brahman. Having his mind thus purified by the performance of his duties and knowing my divinity, he becomes endowed with knowledge and realization and soon attains to me. All this duty, consisting of specific rites of those belonging to the caste and orders of life, if attended with devotion to me, becomes supreme and conducive to liberation. So, I have told you, my friend, what you asked me about, viz., how a person attending to his duty becomes a devotee and attains to me, the Supreme Being. Thus concludes Chapter 13 from the scripture Uddhav Gita, the last message of Lord Shri Krishna. Thank you for listening. Shri Radha Krishnaya Namo Namaha.